The Hall of Fame field wasn't to his liking. Will a drop in class put snap decision back in the winner's circle? We'll find out in today's Better Talk Now. Blind Ambition is relatively new to the turf, but the surface seems to agree with him. The Todd Pletcher trainee will try to remain perfect on the grass as he looks to go 3 for 3 in our feature race. And we'll go behind the scenes with the man who's helped things go smoothly for Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith whenever he's back riding in New York. The story of longtime valet Harry Rice. It is all coming up on another edition of Saratoga Live, presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Great to have you with us as we wrap up another week of action here at the nation's premier race meet, Saratoga Racecourse. Fans enjoying this Monday afternoon action on another lovely day here in Saratoga Springs. Greg Wolf alongside racing analyst Gabby Gaudet. We close out this week. We got one final week of the meet coming up and still a lot left to happen here at Saratoga. We're going to see one of the top older horses in the country, Gunrunner, the Whitney winner, back in action in the Woodward this weekend. And a good feature today named after a really neat horse who was trained by Graham Motion, who just passed away back in June of this year. Better Talk Now.
Absolutely. We had an action-packed weekend this past weekend in the Travers, but the fun's not over yet. Of course, coming up on next weekend too. But I really like our feature race today, and to be honest, it kind of looks like Blind Ambition's a race to lose in the Better Talk Now, as he looks like the main speed from the rail and tries to go untarnished on the turf. Yeah, and it's on the inner turf where we talked about it all meet long. Speed has been so dangerous. Inside post speed on that turf course, a lot in his corner. So we'll see how that works for one of two in that race for trainer Todd Pletcher. Track conditions brought to you by John Deere. The main track you see fast, turf course is firm, and that is where our feature will be contested in the Better Talk Now. Races today, races 7, 8, and 9. 7th race, about 21 minutes away. That one a 5.5 furlong sprint on the grass. Our feature at 8th, and we'll close things out with a 5.5 furlong sprint on the turf for New York bred maidens, a wide open finale on this afternoon's card. With more on our feature race, let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And Greg, thank you. As we have some horses that certainly do have that accomplished turf form, but one that he's only trying it for his second time is Small Bear in here, who will make his first start for trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt and Augustin Farm. And looking at his last dirt race, actually 2 starts ago, he was dominant going 1 1/8 miles, around 1 turn though at Belmont Park. So Jeremiah searching for a race for this horse. I had talked to him earlier, and he was trying to find a kind of 1 1/8 miles race that was similar to what he had run in last time, but couldn't do so, and thought that he deserved another shot, at least going around 2 turns here on the turf course. Now, as far as pedigree, he certainly has enough pedigree to handle it. A full sibling of his won an allowance race on the turf, and he's also half to a filly by the name of Stella Rose, who goes for trainer Christophe Clement, and she almost a year to the day won an allowance race here on the turf. So the family is proficient on either surface, and I certainly think he deserves another try, as his only turf start was going 7/8 around 1 turn in the Paradise Creek, where he finished 3rd. So we'll see what Small Bear brings to the table here in today's Better Talk Now, Greg. But looking forward to this field, it looks as though it's going to be a competitive one.
Yeah, it seems like it's wide open. It seems like a lot of upside with Small Bear, of course, for Bill Parcells. Augustin Farm, he faced a very good horse that day by the name of Big Handsome, so we'll see if he moves up getting back on the grass. Yeah, of course. You could make a solid case for several in here, even Holiday Stone, George Weaver. He always does incredibly well here at Saratoga, so it's going to be a good race here today. Good race to play as well, and maybe make a little bit of money on. Of course, we encourage you to get signed up and started with Naira Bets. Bet 200, you get 200 in your account by using the promo code PIG5. You can get signed up and started with Naira Bets all across the country. And if you play with Naira Bets, that's the only place to take advantage of that Naira Bets late pick 5 and that single winner payout minimum of $150,000 and $300,000 on Saturdays. Set up race 7. Approaching the 18-minute mark to post. Again, a 5.5 furlong sprint over the turf. Entry-level allowance. And right now, it is Vigor. Got a maiden score last time out here at Saratoga, Gabby, for trainer Bill Mott, and won by 3 1/4 lengths in a 5.5 furlong sprint. That's an impressive win.
Yes, and now with one of the scratches towards the inside, Greg, she does figure to maybe be the main speed or at least press on the outside of the 3 or a Shetty in here. But she is a recent maiden winner. She has to face winners for the first time, so there still are some question marks for a 3-2 favorite.
Now let's bring in New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling, former New York Met, Los Angeles Dodger. Paul LaDuca, guy, she was 3-5 in that race. She was supposed to win. She did, and now she gets winners for the first time.
Yeah, and it's so hard to tell really who she was running against or first-time starters, etc. It doesn't feel like a killer field, but she obviously ran well, and as Gabby said correctly, at least I agree with her, maybe in a good position on the front end in here. I just don't want her to short priced against experienced horses, especially one as good as Fire Key.
Yeah, that's the worry. You know, she's got one win. Was it impressive? Yeah, she wins this race in hand, easy. Her race before that, she ran behind 2 nice fillies. Rubelinda is a nice horse, and Remark came back to win here. Again, those are 2 nice fillies, and look, she's winning in a canter here, but this was a weak field. She was supposed to beat this field at 3-5. You look at her race 2 back, and it belongs in here. Now, you're giving up, like you said, one turn or 1 win horse going against winners against a horse like the 7 Fire Key, who's a 3-time winner.
Exactly, and for those that wonder, why is she allowed to be in a race like this, the 7 Fire Key? Because her wins were in restricted races for New York breds. Doesn't mean she was running against bad horses. She was running against New York breds, and so she's got those multiple wins. Now, she's a sort of last time was the time horse because she won up here and paid $10.80, but I think if you look at the field she ran against, starts with Silver, Sister Sophia. These are talented runners, and Fire Key is just a crazy logical horse.
She's a logical horse, and you can look at her races and go, okay, she sat the trip. She's put herself in that position with her natural speed. She really has gotten into good form, and I thought her race, even 3-back over the yielding racetrack or 4-back when she got on the turf, she hit the front and she got beat by Epping Forest, who's a very nice horse for Christophe Clement.
Absolutely, and when you look at her last 12 races, the 5 times she went 6 furlongs or 5.5 furlongs, she's run well in every single one of them. The only time she didn't run as well, she lost to in a race that sort of fell apart, and she was part of the pace. She's just a very logical horse, and I'm really not sure there should be a big difference in price between Fire Key and Vigor, and in some ways, shouldn't Fire Key be the favorite?
I think so. I think maybe people are looking, nothing against Pat Reynolds. Pat Reynolds is
Pat Kelly.
I mean, Pat Kelly, excuse me, is a great trainer. It's just they're looking at Bill Mott. They're looking at a Kentucky bred by Warfront. They're also looking at a New York bred by Frisian Fire.
I agree. They're looking at the wrong intangibles in there. The number 3 horse, Orchietta. I've been told a million times how to pronounce it. I keep getting it wrong.
I stay away from it.
She really did improve last time out, and she should be forwardly placed in here. I just wonder if she's meeting a tougher field today.
I think so. You know, she was tough to figure out because her race before this race, she got popped on the wire by a 30-1 shot. I thought this race was better. She went to the front end, really battled. And you know what? I think she was second best. These 2 horses kept hitting each other down the lane, and I thought the other horse benefited from it.
Oh, there's no question about it, Paul, and it's true. She improved last time out. So the positive for her is she improved in the last race. She did it in Saratoga, and from a speed standpoint, she could be in a good spot. The 2 quality time is a wild card in this
100%.
race. People could be betting this horse because it's Christophe Clement. Gets Lasix for the first time, has not run in 13-plus months since running in Europe, and the good races were synthetic track races. The turf races were bad. But maybe she needed Lasix, and shipping this horse in, maybe she'll do better for Christophe with the Lasix.
I mean, wild card is the perfect word for this horse. The other part about it is she wore blinkers last time. I know it was July 8th of 2016. She has the blinkers off. If that means anything to you, it was a late change in the program. Just a tough read, Gabby. You're going to have to figure out how this horse has been running in the morning. And I know that 5-1, I don't know if you want to take that on a horse first time.
And I think you want to know how she looks. And we got somebody very good in the paddock who can help us with that. Right, Maggie?
I shall try my best, as we'll take a look at number 2, Quality Time here, who comes off that extended layoff for Christophe Clement, going to 5.5 furlongs, which is a turn back from the 7 and the mile that she was getting 1 and 2 starts back in England. Looking at her, though, I'm not opposed to her going this distance whatsoever. She's very compact, very stout looking. Now, she's been accompanied by the pony here. She has not turned a hair. She has not done anything wrong whatsoever. But as far as fitness, I'm wondering if she'll need one under her belt. And with that being said, even though I think she's physically well suited for this distance, are they using it as a stepping stone to possibly get a little more ground as we move downstate to Belmont at the 7/8 or that 1 turn mile? So she's a complete wild card. I don't exactly know what to tell everybody because I've told you what I see from her, but is it going to lead to a winning effort here? Probably not. I would use her, though, protectively underneath. Moving on to number 8, that is Vigor, who is your current favorite. And from a physical outlook, she certainly deserves to be. She looks great coming out of that maiden victory. She has this big, striding, confident walk to her here as well, and she's just a big, good-looking filly that's developed into that frame and filled out that frame finally now as a 3-year-old for this daughter of Warfront. I like what I see here in the paddock as she faces winners for the first time. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. Looks like the public does as well. Vigor right now, 8-5 favorite off that maiden score back on August 14th here at the meet. We'll be back with the post parade right after this. That's a look at Fire Key. Her Saratoga debut on the turf was impressive a couple of weeks ago. What does she have in store for her encore? We'll find out when we come back. Stay tuned.
The graded stakes winning son of Bernardini is off to a sensational start at stud. Among the leading freshman sires by winners in graded stakes horses, his first crop 2-year-olds commanded prices up to 36 times his stud fee. Leading progeny include TD and Rising Star Recruiting Ready, second in the Bashford Manor Stakes, and stakes place performer Junket. The pedigree, speed, and class to become the next star in this sensational sire line. Algorithms at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2 and MSG Plus, various other regional outlets across the country. This is a great way to get introduced to betting the horses if you are new to it without risking any of your own money. Go to SaratogaShowdown.com, get involved, and you can win 50,000 NyraBets wagering points, the equivalent of $50 in your account, and win an entry into next year's Belmont Stakes prize package valued at over $2,000. Again, go to SaratogaShowdown.com or Nyra.com to get involved with that. We'll have the updated standings a little bit later on in the show. There's Sam the Bugler, our call to post. And here comes our post parade. Fields of Song will kick things off. Julian Leperoux for trainer Ian Wilkes.
And she's a filly that's always been a little bit quirky, but I definitely like her on the turn back. Just don't know if she's good enough.
Quality Time, first start in over a year. She put the blinkers on last start. She will take them off today for Christophe Clement with Irad Ortiz Jr.
An absolute wild card in this race. She is taking some money and gets Lasix.
Or a Ketty, and I only know that because I ordered it for dinner the other night. Tyler Gaffleone aboard for Jonathan Thomas.
Sounds delicious, and she looks pretty upbeat in the post parade as well. We'll hope to improve here today.
Draper Bourbon is the 5 for Bourbon Lane. Stable Junior Alvarado rides for Mark Hennig.
Coming on 2 back-to-back second-place finishes. Can she get the win today at 7:01?
The 7 Fire Key sent out by Backwards Stable, trained by Patrick Kelly, has Rajiv Mirage aboard.
She has 3 lifetime wins and tactical speed. She's through those New York bred conditions and faces Open Company today.
Here's a homebred for Claiborne Farm and Adele Dill Schneider. Vigor, Jose Ortiz for Bill Mott.
Steps up off a maiden win against lesser, but ran well enough for good connections that she has to be considered a big-time player.
Big Cat and Camille, Napal Chatterpaul trainee with Eric Consell aboard.
She's faced several of the foes that she faced again today. We don't really see how she's going to turn the tables, but she is 27-1.
And here is the elder stateswoman of the group, the 5-year-old mare First Charmer, Jose Lezcano for Richard Mativier.
She's stepping up in class. She has back form that can win this, but her recent form is dubious.
That is a look at your post parade. There is Vigor, daughter of Warfront, as mentioned, bred and owned by Claiborne Farm and Adele Dill-Schneider. Of course, Warfront, winner of the Vanderbilt right here at Saratoga, was first or second in 9 of 13 career starts. There is a look at him in Paris, Kentucky, one of the most respected and sought-after stallions in the world. First crop included the Factor Data Link Declaration of War. It would go on to win the Queen Anne and Juddmonte International as well.
Absolutely. His progeny has been fantastic, and that's why you have to pay the pretty price of $250,000 for the stud fee.
All right, let's see how Paula Duca is playing this race. Paulie, what you up to?
I hate to go against the Claiborne horse, Wolfie, but how about Warfront at one time? He stood for $15,000, now $250,000. I like the 7, Fire Key. I'm taking the horse, the filly that has the most wins in here, has a win at Saratoga, has tactical speed. Do I love the price? No, at 2-1, but she was never going to be 6-1.
I tell you, this is bad for you, though. You and I
like
agree here. I don't know if we've agreed on any bets before.
That's true.
I mean, it's interesting looking at the doubles. She's a slight second choice, but according to the doubles, it could get very close between the 7 and 8 as to who is the ultimate favorite in this race.
Both of them on the board right now at 2-1 by a slim margin. It is Vigor, the 8. Meanwhile, with more on the 3, Orachetti, let's go to Maggie.
And I'm joined by President of Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, Aaron Wellman here, who sends out, as we were just debating on how to pronounce it, Orachetti. And Aaron, how did you come up with this name for this filly?
You know, we bought her at the 2-year-old sales last year, and she must have had an unfortunate paddock incident where she was left out too long in the cold one winter as a baby, and she's got some frostbitten ears. So they're a small ear, and in Italian, a small ear-shaped pasta is Orachetti, so that's why we named her Orachetti.
Well, some people saying she kind of looks like a hippo. Why didn't you go with that?
That's after the fact. We were the ones willing to take the risk, so they could call her whatever they want after that.
Fair enough. You also send out hieroglyphics in the next race in the Better Talk Now, and he's 1 of 2 for Todd Pletcher. How do you think he's heading into the race?
You know, he's a progressive colt. He's really done well this season since we put him on the grass. He's gone through his condition now, and now's the time to either run in a 2 other than against older with the 62.5 caveat to it, which is a really tough race, or you try him in stakes company against his own age group, and that's what we're doing today. It's a small field, but it's absolutely loaded with quality. I imagine Todd's other horse is going to go to the lead, and we'd like to be within striking distance of him, and from there it's just a matter of who's good enough.
Certainly have a nice tactical advantage, and you brought your classic winner, Taprith, winner of this year's Belmont, back to a 4th place finish in the Travers. Where do you go with him from here?
You know, we're not rushing to make any decision right now. We'll huddle up with the group, which includes Bridlewood and Mr. LaPenta, Gainesway, and Mandy Pope now, and just sort of map out what we think is the best route to finish off his season, and then hopefully go in to his 4-year-old year as a, top handicap horse, hopefully. We're looking, maybe the Pennsylvania Derby might be a little sharp back, but we'll keep that on the table. And then it's always within consideration of jumping up against olders in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Well, Aaron, looking forward to whatever you have in store with him. Certainly was a great ride. He brought us on in the Belmont, and best of luck here with your 2.
Thank you so much.
All right, Greg.
Now we're more thoroughly confused than we have been all day long. I thought I had it right. Larry Colmus, I checked with him. We just looked it up. It was Orachetti as well. I'm just going to say the 3 from here on out.
Tomato, tomato.
Here's a look at Pray for Bourbon. I can get this one right for Mark Hennig. This one just missed by a neck and 3 parts of a length the last 2 tries on turf sprinting, which happened to be the first 2 tries for this filly on turf.
Yeah, exactly. It took her a while to make that transition, but she's pretty much been sprinting throughout her entire career, and took her a while to get that maiden score, and she did it on the dirt. But since transitioning to the turf, she's actually kind of stepped up a little bit, and I thought it was an impressive closing bid last time out after the pace kind of held. But still, I think this is a tough race for her.
Well, I agree. This is a much faster race. If you look at horses, and I believe in speed figures, and I know they can be a little dubious on turf, but this horse is running 10 or more points slower than the other horses.
Yeah.
That's a lot of lengths to make them a turf sprint. And you see, Paul, a 5-horse field like that, where the whole field was a length apart at the wire, that's not a great sign for the quality of the race.
It makes no sense. If you're going to take horses out of that race, why would you not bet the 9? The 9 and the 5 were in a split photo for second and third. One's 29 to 1, one's 7 to 1. That's why I think Pray for Bourbon is sort of a sucker play a little bit. 6 seconds. I don't think it really matters over the inner dirt, going long, 1 turn mile or 7 furlongs. It doesn't matter what surface you put the horse on. He hangs.
Right. The point you're making is maybe the 9 is supposed to be 30 to 1.
Exactly.
But if the 9 is supposed to be 30 to 1, the 5 is supposed to be 25 to 1. So why would you take 7 to 1?
I hope those two would just please stop right now, because they're going to put this horse right in the winner's circle, and that horse is not on my play.
Let's hope not.
Here's a look at Vigor. So Vigor, look, there's a lot of upside, it appears, with this one as well. You win by 3 1/4, going 5 1/2 on the turf, no matter what field it's against. That's an impressive win, and that's what this filly did last time out in a maiden special weight, now getting winners for the first time. It should be forwardly placed.
Exactly. She could be the main speed. We could see Orchetti to the inside, maybe show a little bit more speed as we see the 3 actually right now. It looks like the rider is off. So we'll see getting a leg back in the saddle is Tyler Gaffleone. So it looks like it's okay there. But yeah, Vigor, I think she's being bet, I think, for 2 reasons. She's got speed. She's got Bill Mott. Well, 3 reasons, really. And she's got Rubelinda in the running lines. Yeah,
Rubelinda, of course, that when she debuted, the daughter of Frankel, first time out, she was sensational in that debut. And also Remarked came out of that race to come back and win here just the other week, guys.
Winning at the racetrack is about 2 things. It's finding horses, obviously, that win, but it's getting value. And with the 7, you've got a horse. She's not compromised by the speed because she has the speed to stay close. The 7, you've got a horse that you know is capable of running Beyer figures in the mid to high 80s. With the 8, you're betting a horse in the come. You're saying she's going to improve off her maiden win, assuming the 7 shows up and runs a race. Why would you take a shorter priced horse that needs to improve over a longer price that's already there? That, to me, makes the 7 a better bet than the 8 at a higher price.
The 7's a better bet just alone because she's got 3 wins. This is the bottom line. I mean, the thing about the 3, this is the worry for the 7. The 7 needs the 3 to go early, and I'm wondering if Tyler Gaffleone last time was thinking, I didn't really want the lead and doesn't want the lead today. That could be the worry.
Except the 7's not
Has
slow.
enough to stay. No, he's no.
The 7's not slow,
no,
so if they go slow up front, she'll be right there. So if the 7 was a deep closer, I would agree, but the 7's got speed, so she's not compromised, assuming she breaks well and runs.
Yeah, she will be close. She has the ability to absolutely lay close. Look at the fractions that next to her, though, back to the 8 Vigor that she was running with in that maiden win. I know the turf course was playing quick, but still.
Yeah.
21 and change, 43 and 4.
She was close to the pace, and she drew off in hand. But as the guys were saying, really, what did she face at that maiden special weight level?
Andy's point is right. Certainly, you're betting that Vigor is going to turn into and improve off that performance, but you know what you have with Fire Key, who should be the shorter price, the better played. So it has numbers. You certainly would bet the 7 over the 8. But what if you're playing a multi-race wager? Probably wouldn't want to leave either of them out.
No, exactly right. And I wouldn't leave out Orchetti, the 3, either. Honestly, I thought she ran a really courageous race last time out. She was bumped a little bit coming down the stretch. She was knocked off stride, and she kept on to the wire. I like these 3 horses best.
Yeah, but certainly agree with it. 9 to 5 now, no way Vigor should be at that price. She is, however, she loads in for Claiborne Farm and Adele Dilschneider. We are set. We'll see how she fares in her first try against winners. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of the Triple Crown for the call, Larry Colmus.
2 left to load here. Pray for Bourbon moving into the starting gate. Will be followed by First Charmer to the outside stall. First Charmer coming up. Goes in, and they're all in line. They're off. Vigor is out sharply to take the lead. First Charmer, Oriquete, Fire Key right behind them. Then Big Cat and Camille, followed by Fields of Song on the inside. And right between horses, Quality Time, Pray for Bourbon is last early heading up the backstretch. And it is Vigor in front. Vigor on top, 3/4 of a length. Fire Key running in second. First Charmer third. Oriquete had to steady there and is taken back in fourth and 4 lengths from the front. Then Big Cat and Camille to the outside. Fields of Song and Pray for Bourbon and Quality Time is last. The field makes their way around the far turn. Vigor, 3/4 of a length ahead of First Charmer. Fire Key. Oriquete trying to get back into it after some trouble there. Big Cat and Camille comes into the stretch in fifth. And then Fields of Song coming up the inside. Coming to the 8th pole. Vigor is the leader by a length and a half over Fire Key, First Charmer, and then Fields of Song on the inside, followed by Pray for Bourbon, Quality Time, and Oriquete. Here comes Fire Key alongside of Vigor. Vigor, Fire Key, Vigor, heads apart, very close. It's either Fire Key or Vigor, and then a photo between First Charmer and Quality Time. 101.12, the final time.
I have no idea. I'll let the photo separate this one. Fire Key, the 7, the 8 Vigor, both right there. Nothing separating them.
Man, we've had some close finishes on the turf, and this is definitely one of them. I can't call it either. Maybe the guys could help us. All right, Andy, go ahead, call it.
The 7 won.
Yeah, the 7 got the bob, guys.
7 got the bob. Nice race by both of them. But the truth is, the 8 ran well. The 8 had no excuse. The 7 had to get behind him and get out. Nice race by the 2 best horses.
Rajiv Mirage won this race on the backside because Tyler Gaffalione was not aggressive with whatever the pasta is, or a Chieti. Because what ended up happening was Rajiv took that spot, Andy, and then he was able to run this horse down.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The speeds held on. Actually, the 10, the long shot, held on for third. The horses that were 1, 2, 3 early ran 1, 2, 3. The best 2 horses at the wire together, and sometimes a head bob goes your way. In this case, it did, Paul.
Another look here down the stretch. Vigor and Jose Ortiz trying to hang on just a little bit longer, but here comes the more experienced Fire Key.
There we see her. This was back and forth, right to the finish line. Noses apart here, Greg, as we're getting closer and closer to the finish line. And inside, outside, right in the nick of time.
And that is a brutal
not even close,
beat,
guys.
That wasn't close at all. You're right.
That's like a length and a half. You kidding me?
Come on, Wolfie. I parked my car in spots bigger
I got gun shy, guys. Whenever I call it, I'm always wrong. So I decided to just leave it alone.
Well, we did have the benefit of seeing the slow-mo camera down here. And that slow-mo camera.
I mean, Andy, good call as well. But Paul LaDuca, I've worked with him for years. He has the best eye in the business. I was not going to go against him. 7, 8, 10, 2. 9-5 on Fire Key. Slight second choice. Vigor did go off your favorite in the race. We're going to take a break in the action. We'll be back with prices. You got to be organized, able to handle constant chaos while staying calm through the storm. Up next, the story of the man who's made things run smoothly for Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith for nearly 3 decades.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish from a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
You're watching Saratoga Live. Rajiv Mirage into the winner's circle on Fire Key, and it wasn't even close.
Not
right?
at all. It was like a half ahead.
$5.90 for the win. Trained by Patrick Kelly, 4-year-old filly by Frisian Fire. The win out of the Albert the Great mare. You Are Key. 7, 8, 10. Vigor, what to keep your eyes on next time out. But today it's about Fire Key. For more, let's go to Maggie downstairs.
We were just debating it. I can say, Pat, though, Andy did pick Fire Key in here. So you got away with the win with Andy picking your horse.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
No, I'm kidding. But Fire Key, 2 for 2 here at Saratoga, taking down Open Company. She's a filly that just seems to improve every time you bring her over.
Horse for course, maybe, for next year. We'll come up and maybe we were lucky we didn't get in the stake yesterday. We were stuck on the outside, didn't get to run, so took advantage of a nice allowance race today.
And we were just talking off camera that there aren't any New York bred stakes for turf sprinters. So where do you kind of weigh your options? Obviously, you have to go 6 or 7 back down at Belmont.
I'm going to check Marilyn Million because she's actually eligible because of her daddy, see if there's something down there. There might be a stake at Laurel, and there's going to be a new sprint stake on the new turf at Aqueduct in November.
Ooh, I like that. I like the way you searched your options, Pat. And I forgot a Frisian Fire. That might be a really good spot for her.
Yes, if it is, we'll take a little road trip. Always like some crab cakes in the fall.
Second that. Can you take me with you, please?
Sure.
All right, sounds like a date. Pat, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Andy, what are you dying to say? Are you saying it to me or Pat about Fire Key?
No, I'm fine. Pat's my man. Pat's
you know
all
what
right.
the key
Pat
is?
knows.
2 negatives make a positive.
Yeah,
we
right.
both picked that
You
horse.
and I picked the horse. Now, Pat's showing around. I've always liked Fire Key, and I've talked to Pat about Fire Key a number of times. Liked him actually when she broke her maiden, and I'm glad to see Pat putting her in the right races. Always good to see a guy like Pat Kelly.
He's a good
doing
trainer.
well. He
He's
is,
a
and,
good
I think a
trainer.
lot of people don't know how much success he has had in the past with some very, very good horses. I remember him shipping out, I want to say it's Sultry Sun, but I'm not sure, Sultry Song, and winning the Hollywood Gold Cup, actually, going way back.
But he's always been a guy that's not had a ton of horses, but every time he's come up to Saratoga, he's always fired big shots.
Solar Splendor, he's had some very, very good horses in past years for Live Oak, and definitely is a very good trainer. Just doesn't necessarily have the same stock anymore.
Well, now he's got a filly with some options and a filly that proves she can win even when Andy Serling picks her. So she's got some talent.
That's unique.
The Naira Betts late pick 5 has become best value in racing this summer. The sequence offered daily with a minimum $150,000 single winning ticket payout if you play it through Naira Betts. That single winning ticket payout, $300,000 if you play it through Naira Betts on Saturday. So get in on the sequence by going to NairaBets.com. And, of course, our Monday Naira Betts late pick 5 began back in race 5 with a 7-furlong New York bred maiden special weight. And it was Brett Calhoun, Luis Saiz, and a horse who had some experience getting the job done second time out. Big Jemmy had some problems out of the gate in the debut. This time, no issues at all.
And he came out of a race behind a very talented runner there. The added distance made all the difference.
Second leg of the sequence, mile and a 16th on the inner turf. And Thirsty Actor trying to get by hot and heavy. Was trying to take them all around on the front end the entire way.
Yeah, Abel Lizcano getting down there to the wire and getting up in the nick of time there.
Thirsty Actor, 3 consecutive victories, undefeated now on the turf. So that's how the Naira Betts late pick 5 follow along has happened. $7.50, $9, $5.90. If there was only one winning ticket, an extra, what is that, 37, 34, 33?
33.
32,996 to be exact, of value in that pool if you played it through Naira Betts. Well, whenever jockey Mike Smith returns to New York, as he did this past weekend with wins on Drefong and West Coast, there's a familiar face and soothing voice the Hall of Fame rider knows he can count on to make sure things go smoothly behind the scenes. Smith has had the same valet whenever he returns to New York for nearly 3 decades. So what exactly does a valet do? Maybe a better question is, what don't they do? Here's another edition of I Am.
I am Harry Rice. I am a valet. They always say valet, but when I first started here 40 years ago, the old timers told me We're valets. Valets park cars. So in the morning, I get here early and I see what horses the jockeys I work for. Up here, I'm working for Mike Luzzy. So I see what horses they're riding, and I go out and I pick up their silks, and I set their silks up and make the helmet covers and lay out their clothes for them and make it as easy as it is, and then have drinks for them if they need anything in between races, because once the day starts, it's non-stop till the end of the day. They'll come in, clean up, change their clothes, go right back out for another race. So we try to make their day go as smooth as possible. In the morning when we first get here, Walter and Paco, the two colormen, they lay out all the colors for us in each race. So you look to see what number your jock's riding in what race, and then you take his colors, and then you bring them back to your station and set everything up nice. Well, here's Mike Luzzy's stuff today. All his clothes are laid out. He rides 4 horses, so we have the colors and the helmets lined up for them, and his saddles are down here. Every race, the weight is different for the jockey. So Mike has his basic saddle, weighs like 4 pounds. So if he has more weight, we have to add it, and we have these weights. This is a 2-pound piece that will go in this back pocket here, and we'll just add the weights as we go along to make up whatever the proper weight is. You know, people kind of complain that there's so much time in between races here, but Saratoga especially is the hardest because we have to walk probably a quarter mile to the paddock, then we come back here, do a little work, then we have to work another quarter mile to the finish line, wait for the horses to come back. We come back here, we get things ready for the next race, and next thing you know, we're on our way back out again.
Harry writes his first job as a valet was for Jean Cruguet, who was a rider, of course, a Triple Crown champion, Seattle Slew back in 1977. Let's bring in Paul LaDuca. Paul, you were a professional athlete, of course, for many years. How important is it to have that sort of equipment manager, do-it-all, jack-of-all-trades, to be able to take your mind off the stuff that you don't have time for?
Wow, it's absolutely giant, and it's tough to put into words because a guy like Harry to Mike Smith over the 29 years, that's all you're seeing is what you're seeing what he does on the racetrack. It's what he does off the racetrack. When Mike Smith is in traffic and might be late for a mount, he's not calling his significant other or somebody else. He's calling Harry to let him know, hey, I'm going to be late for this mount. You need me to get this. You need me to get that. It's an emergency line. Now, when I was in the big leagues, usually a clubhouse kid had 3 to 4 guys. So you would go to that guy, hey, I need this, I need that. Send this bill out, send this bill out. You know, when Mike has to go back and forth or Mike Luzzy has to ride in different places, Harry is the guy that is sort of the linchpin between all that. So he does a lot of stuff on and off the field. And what's more important is this is a 365-day sport. It's not like other sports where you tip the valet or you tip your clubhouse guy and you have an off season. Harry's here all the time. So he is integral and a big part of the jockeys, and all those guys in there do a tremendous job.
Responsible for the silks, the costume changes every single day, making sure the correct weights are in the saddle cloth, being a bodyguard, getting them through the crowd quickly, making sure he has every single snacks, drinks he needs throughout the afternoon, and then everything else in between. It's a nonstop job. It's a busy day. And Harry Rice been doing it for a long, long time. One of the most respected in the game. And get it right. It's not valet. It is valet. We're going to take a break in the action. We'll be back with more coming up here on Saratoga Live. The 2004 Sword Dancer. It was Better Talk Now. His first Grade 1 win for Ramon Dominguez in New York back in the day. The Better Talk Now is coming up next.
Eclipse Award winner Blame retired to stud with more than $4.3 million in earnings, including a historic victory over Zenyatta in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. In 2017, his top runners include stakes winner No Fault of Mine, Japanese star Resonator, and classic winner Singa, the dominant victor of this year's Grade 1 French Oaks. Blame at Claiborne Farm.
NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NyraBets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NyraBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu. or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRA Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
But here comes Better Talk Now, who surges past to take the lead. Better Talk Now under a brilliant ride by Ramon Dominguez to win it here. Now, who surges past.
That was Better Talk Now in the 2004 Sword Dancer, his first of 5 Grade 1 wins. He was the first multiple Grade 1 winner for trainer Graham Motion. He was a constant challenge for the trainer. It was his way or the highway. He had all kinds of character. He was known simply to Graham Motion and his group as Blackie. Passed away in June of this year at 18 years of age.
He was very opinionated. Whatever Blackie wanted to do, well, you better let him do it, that's for sure. And after, you know, his illustrious career, he won the 2004 Breeders' Cup Turf. He was really the horse that put Graham Motion, you know, in the big picture of racing and really started his career. And Better Talk Now, I know Graham Motion has always said that this was his favorite horse ever.
First multiple Grade 1 winner, as I mentioned, for Graham Motion and for Hall of Fame jockey Ramon Dominguez. When his racing career was over, he went back to Fairhill with Graham Motion, and he shared a paddock with Graham Motion's first ever stakes winner, Gala Spinaway. They actually became best friends, and they were treated at Fairhill like absolute royalty.
I got to see both of them, actually. A couple years ago, I went up and saw Better Talk Now in the paddock with Gala Spinaway, both horses who were absolutely loved by the Motions.
The Better Talk Now is next here on Saratoga Live. Mile over the inner turf. 4th running in this race, purse of $100,000. And Blind Ambition, we knew it would be a much shorter price than what we saw there in the morning line. 1 of 2 in here for Todd Pletcher, but speed inside and only 2 tries on grass, Gabby. 2 victories, including a win sprinting in that quick call last time out at 5.5 furlongs and now stretching out.
And his quick call victory was absolutely legitimate. I thought this was a horse that was better, maybe a little bit longer, but he overcame that and won the quick call. And he has 2-turn turf experience, 7.5 furlongs down at Gulfstream. He, from the inside, looks like the horse to catch.
Let's bring in Andy and Paul here as we look at the positives there for Blind Ambition. So he'll try and make it 3 for 3 on the turf and on the stretch out, drawn inside. Going to be very dangerous.
It looks too easy. I mean, honestly, the inside, it's not speed so much, especially in the inner turf. It's the inside position. It's being on the rail and saving ground that's of the utmost importance. These courses have gotten firm. He's inside. He's the controlling speed. The 7.5 furlong race in Florida is really a mile race. This horse, I don't know what there isn't to like. How can he lose on paper?
You make a good point, as in lone speed, because the other speed in the race is the other Pletcher. You know what? In the quick call, he sort of had to be asked early to keep up. It was a really clever ride by Castellano because he kept up early and kept his inside position. But I love the way he finishes the deal here, because if you look, I think he's the kind of horse that's going to love to relish the distance. He was a little washy on the day, and look at the way he just handles it. He was good when he went around 2 turns at Gulfstream, too.
And he got the firm turf down there, and has the same firm turf here. But he's meeting a tough field. I mean, the 2-snap decision, it's a good horse, snap decision. He beat Hieroglyphics, the other Pletcher horse, by a length and a half, 2 back. But in reality, it wasn't even close because it was a crawling pace that Hieroglyphics was allowed to attend. And snap decision had to come out of his game, and he still easily handled that one. So while they finished close together, I don't think it's close. I don't think there's any way the 3 beats the 2 without an incident.
I'm with you because you know what? When you watch this race, the 2 was completely loaded the whole way around the track, and we're just waiting for the sign to go. Now, does Hieroglyphics give him all he can handle here? He does a little bit, but snap decision just goes all right on by. His next start, he was behind Bricks and Mortar and Yoshida, who's a nice runner.
I agree. And then you look at it, and there's another horse in this race that were behind Bricks and Mortar and Big Handsome in that group, and that's Holiday Stone, the 7. And I'm going to tell you, if I'm George Weaver and/or Luis Saez, I think I am coming out running out of the gate because you're not going to outrun the 1. But if you go fast enough, you can create the needed separation to at least get over and not be compromised. This is not a 1-turn race at Belmont where being 3 wide isn't a problem. 3 wide here, and he's doomed. He's got to go to create separation. And at least he, unlike snap decision, he made moves to try to win this race against a tough field, and he's a much better price.
Well, listen, he was trying to keep that horse pinned in on the inside the whole time, and Bricks and Mortars ends up coming up and swooping everybody. That was Big Handsome on the inside, who ran a heck of a race. Those are just better horses than the horse he's facing. That's why this horse is a player.
They are, and he had trouble in his prior race. He's got a lot of things to like. Right, Maggie?
Yes, he actually does. But first, we'll check in on the rail here with number 1. That is your favorite in Blind Ambition, whom is stretching out from the 5.5 to the mile. And he's just an athletic, handy-looking horse that I think, you know, there won't be any problems with him handling. Given what everybody has said already about him, he looks as though he's the horse who possesses the speed from the rail in this turf course on the inner. It's just his race to lose. And I support that with what I see here in the paddock. Though it does look like George Weaver has a horse that should be fairly competitive against Blind Ambition and Holiday Stone. And the last time I had seen him was for that Manila, and I think he's come out of that race looking even better, even stronger behind the saddle, put on more weight, more muscle mass. I think he could be very dangerous against the favorite in here, given the fact that he's faced some decent fields as well throughout his running. And then finally, number 6 is Small Bear. He, like Blind Ambition, is the only other horse to have already won 3 races. And when you get to this point as a 3-year-old, you're kind of searching for spots. And there are only a handful of restricted races to 3-year-olds left here in the season. And this is a spot. He ran okay, I suppose, in the Paradise Creek. I still am kind of up against it at looking at him physically of whether he's a horse that can handle the turf. But pedigree says that he can handle it. It's just, will he be as good on it as many of his other competition in here? The price on the board, well, it's a good one, and I do think he looks great here overall. It's just, I think the waters are pretty deep here, guys.
We'll find out. Second try on the turf for the 6 Small Bear. There's a look at snap decision. His whole career has been on the turf. He'll make his 9th career start, trying to pick up his 3rd victory on the grass. And Jose Ortiz, the meet's leading rider, back aboard for the Better Talk Now when we come back.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live, our feature race coming up on this Monday afternoon, fourth running of the Better Talk Now post-parade, brought to you by OCD Pellets, celebrating their 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, go to ocdpellets.com. Here's Blind Ambition, one of two in the race for trainer Todd Pletcher, owned by Gainesway Stable with Javier Castellano.
The rail, speed, the talent looks almost too good to be true.
And undefeated 2 for 2 on the turf. Here is Snap Decision for Phipps Stable, trained by Shug McGahee with Jose Ortiz.
He beat Hieroglyphics to 3-2 back, and Johnny V was aboard. Now Johnny V is aboard the 3. Jose Ortiz is aboard the 2.
Here's the other Todd Pletcher runner, and this is the one. John Velasquez is aboard Hieroglyphics for Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners.
Couldn't handle Snap Decision when he had everything go his own way. Don't see why it should be different today.
Kieran McLaughlin trains the 5 Adonis Creed for Zilla Racing Stables with Jose Lescano.
Is a talented runner, but the field is so deep that he really is the 6th likeliest winner.
Second time on the turf for Small Bear, trained by Jeremiah Engelhart, known by Bill Parcells' August Dawn Farm with Irad Ortiz Jr.
Malone Gray in the race looks like he's feeling pretty good. His lone turf start okay, and he tries very hard for a new barn this time.
And Holiday Stone, trained by George Weaver, Luis Saez for Jim and Susan Hill.
Has been keeping very good company recently. Must use his speed for position.
4-1 on a Holiday Stone here on the outside, coming out of the Manila last time out, which was won by Bricks and Mortar. I want to remind everyone here, NyraBet's offering a 10% winner's bonus on any customer who hits the trifecta in the Better Talk Now stakes on their mobile device. Just place a $1 base trifecta on your mobile device on NyraBets.com on the Better Talk Now and take home that 10% winner's bonus. Andy Serling, how are you going to play our feature?
I'm gonna bet on the 7 to win here, Holiday Stone. I'm gonna take a shot. I think 4-1, 7-2 is getting a little on the low side. I wouldn't want a lower price. He's got to work out a trip from the outside and use his speed. But this is a horse that's kept good company. He had significant trouble 2 back in the Penn Mile to prevent him from a much closer finish. The American turf, he was down on the inside. The rail was dead that weekend at Churchill on the turf. He got narrowly beaten in the Transylvania. This is a good horse, a very deep race. This horse can win.
I feel like we're becoming best friends. We're going to go play karate in the garage here pretty soon, Greg Wolf.
Did we just become best friends? Yeah, Paul and Andy starting to agree a lot. I like it.
Things are getting weird.
7-2 on Holiday Stone. Meanwhile, I think we all kind of agreed on this when we saw Small Bear race last time out in the curling. He showed a lot of heart in that race.
He absolutely did, and he's a horse that's really been quite honest wherever he's gone. And his most recent turf event, well, he was beaten by 7 lengths, but behind a talented runner and Big Handsome. He shows up. This is a tough field to kind of dive back into a turf race.
Gabby, let me ask you a quick question. He's the type of horse that last time I mentioned on air that Dylan Davis rode the hair off this horse, and if you look at his turf effort, he got stopped a couple times. He cannot be stopped. He doesn't have like a really quick gear.
No, you're absolutely right. And I guess he's a horse that figures to be closing from off the pace. And as we were talking about the pace dynamic, it just kind of looks like the main speed and blind ambition towards the inside. So you almost wonder if it really goes for him here, Paul.
You know, I think you're right. I think the dynamics, the outside post, he may get the wrong trip here.
Yeah.
This is a horse to watch because he's very talented.
He's
the only horse that made any kind of run and made a real run to kind of catch up to Outplay last time. Just couldn't catch that one on a track favoring that one's running style and not Small Bears. His turf race also was on a good turf course. He gets a firmer course, which in theory could help him. It's just the dynamics of this race may work against him. But he's a trainer switch to Jeremiah Englehart, and Small Bear is talented. He's going to win races down the road. Whether it's today or not is doubtful.
10-1 on Small Bear, so second time on the turf, warming up all by himself here. With more, let's go to Maggie.
Greg, as you mentioned, by himself beneath Irad Ortiz, he was a horse that was, well, feeling his oats during that post race, and he actually broke rank in that, and Irad Ortiz gave him a good almost 2-minute lick. It's where a horse is kind of going 15-second eighths overall, and I like that. Today, he looks like a coiled spring. I have not seen this horse act like this. Yes, I completely agree with Andy in that the dynamics might not be in his favor, but I think this is a horse that is doing better than ever. He might be able to outrun his odds. Moving on to a horse that, well, always looks a bit washy in the paddock, and then he gets out there and he dries up on the track, and that's exactly what Hieroglyphics did once again here today. I just wanted to make sure that if people saw him getting a bit hot in the paddock, that's very, very typical for him, and he looks much the same as I've always seen him. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. Wow, Small Bear looks like a war horse today, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is definitely feeling his oats, and those are all real positive signs you want to see, and he's 10-1, Greg.
Here's another horse who's a price at 12-1 on the board. This is Adonis Creed for Kieran McLaughlin, and coming out of the Grade 3 Kent and a very good runner in Frostmorn.
Exactly. Frostmorn, a very talented runner as well. Now, he was defeated. There was a big margin of separation there. Of course, he was defeated almost 8 lengths, but he has kind of sneaky good races, guys, even going back to the Jimmy Murphy, where he was part of the pace that really collapsed and kind of set up for Yoshida. You think he's a little dirtied up on form?
You know, I don't know if he's dirtied up. I think your point about the Jimmy Murphy is if he was coming out of the Murphy, I'd say, yes, he's dirtied up. He's run well enough in his 2 races with good trips in his races. He's just not good enough on paper to beat this field. He's a good horse. I'm not trying to knock him. This is a 6-horse field, but it's a very good 6-horse field.
It is, but if you look, he was only a couple lengths behind Snap Decision. I don't love this horse. But she makes a good point, Gab, because Yoshida and Chubby Star, I think, were last and second to last. This horse had issues. And Master Plan and Frostmorn, you know, they ran 1-2. Frostmorn won the Penn Mile.
In my opinion, he cannot win this race on paper.
I think he's got an outside shot. You could take a shot between the 5 and the 6 at 12-1 now.
I'd like to bet the 6 beats the 5 at even money for a lot of money.
I can't. I'm a Small Bear fan. Don't do that to me.
I'm not betting with you. It's like to bet with somebody.
Unfortunately, we will not take that up here either.
Yeah,
we both think Small Bear looks sensational here on the racetrack. Here's the favorite, though, 7-5, and coming out of a stakes sprint, likely going to be in front on a course that's been favoring speed, going to be perfectly drawn here to the inside to take advantage of that pace as well. A lot to like, and not to mention the undefeated record on grass.
Exactly. You checked all the points, all the boxes there, Greg. It's almost too good to be true at 7-5. We'll see. I've always liked this horse going a little bit longer, so I really like the fact that he stretches out to the mile versus where he was in the quick call at 5.5.
This game's not that easy, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes it is. Javier Castellano, he was aboard for that stakes victory in the quick call at 5.5 furlongs. He is back aboard this afternoon. We have a new audience joining us here for our feature, The Better Talk Now, coming up right now. Welcome to Saratoga Live. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Welcome to those just joining us. on Altitude Sports Network. Great to have you with us. Our feature race coming up. That is the Better Talk Now. You can play along from home as we bring you live action here on Saratoga Live by opening an account with Naira Bets. Bet 200, you get 200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5 to take advantage of that. You can get signed up and started all across the country with Naira Bets by going to nairabets.com. Analyst selections. Paul and Gabby like the Inside Speedster. Maggie, Andy like the 7-horse Holiday Stone. All right, Paul, Andy, explain yourselves to our Altitude Sports viewers who just joined us.
Well, I think the one is the horse to beat.
Yeah.
And if everybody said to me, if somebody put a gun to my head and said, you just need to pick the winner of this race, I'd pick the one. But it's a betting game, and I'd rather take 7-2 or 4-1 on the 7 than roughly even money on the 1. That's all.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Andy. This is getting really weird down here. But I didn't think the 1 would be 6-5. I knew the horse would be the favorite. 6-5. Again, it's too low of a price. The 7's been facing a lot tougher. The 1 hasn't had the acid test yet.
The betting public is very, very smart, and they're all alert to the fact that inside position, which a lot of people think is speed, but it's really being able to be on the rail, is a huge advantage, particularly in the inner turf and particularly in these 1-mile races. So they understand the 1 looks like the controlling speed in the inside, and it may make them unbeatable.
So who goes from the outside?
The 7 has to go. The 7 has to.
Maybe the 5 too.
The 5 could go as well, but the 7. See, I think the 7 needs to be aggressive because 2 things will happen if he's aggressive. One is the 1 will let him clear and then he'll win. The other one is he'll create separation and then he can tuck in behind him and be on the rail behind him and create separation, so he doesn't have to worry about the others behind him. So if the 7 was my horse, I would tell Saez, you come out of the race riding. I don't care if you get beaten. You come out riding and you make your own.
So you want
good
the
trip.
same ride you saw in the Transylvania. Big Score's a nice horse.
I want
that same ride.
I want whipping
from the
and
8-hole,
slashing.
from the outside.
They went 23. Yes, I want that ride. I
Yeah.
want him to go. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not saying he'll clear the 1, but if you create the separation, you could get him behind him.
Well, they put a bullet 5-furlong drill into the 7 Holiday Stone on the turf with the dogs out last time out, maybe to get a little more speed in them.
And sometimes George Weaver, the trainer of the 7 Holiday Stone, he really cranks his horses up to run at their best up here at Saratoga. So this horse is definitely moving in the right direction. He had a horrible trip in the Penn Mile. But last time out in the Manila, watching the replay several times, Greg, I did notice that he was kind of lugging in late. I don't know how much stock you can really put into it. His other races seems like he stays a straight course. And what's in black and white, he was defeated by Bricks and Mortar, who I think is a very, very talented horse.
We saw the 2 go by, snap decision, a little lathered up around the shoulder and neck area. Not a great sign, but horses can still run their race when you see that.
Yeah, and when you look at horses kind of that are washed out in the post parade or leading into the gate, you always want to look for changes in behavior, and this is pretty normal for the 2 snap decisions, so this is nothing negative.
6-5 favorite, Blind Ambition, looking to improve to 3 for 3 on the turf in his career. The son of Tappet, one of 2 horses in the race for Todd Pletcher. Can he remain undefeated on grass? We will find out. Let's send it upstairs for the call of the Better Talk Now to the voice of New York Racing, Larry Colmus.
Hieroglyphics moving into the starting gate next will be followed by Adonis Creed. Waiting for Small Bear and Holiday Stone. Even money right now on Blind Ambition as we await Small Bear and Durand Ortiz Jr. to take their spot in the starting gate. Now they're coming forward and almost in there. He's in, and here's Holiday Stone to the outside stall. Holiday Stone goes in. They're all in line. They're off in the Better Talk Now. Blind Ambition sent to the lead by Javier Castellano, and there goes Adonis Creed, and Jose Lezcano's intent on the lead with Adonis Creed. They're going to take over. Blind Ambition on the inside second. Holiday Stone is up running in third by another 3, and then it's Hieroglyphics fourth as they make their way around the turn. Snap Decision is next. Small Bear is last, and they're moving right along up front. Adonis Creed, the leader, able to cross over and clear now. Blind Ambition will let him go and sit second through a 23.28 first quarter, so the pace is pretty honest here. Holiday Stone, third up the backstretch, 4 lengths off the lead, and right to the inside is Hieroglyphics as things start to slow down a bit up front. And then it's Snap Decision in fifth, 5 from the front, clear from Small Bear the trailer. They continue through a 47.13 half mile. Adonis Creed by a length and a half. And then it's Blind Ambition in second, Hieroglyphics third of the inside. Holiday Stone now moving up a spot into third. And then comes Snap Decision fifth. Racing 4 lengths off the lead, taken to the outside. The trailer is Small Bear. Around the far turn they go. Holiday Stone rushing up on the far outside with Blind Ambition to collar front running Adonis Creed. Now these two are 1-2. Blind Ambition and Holiday Stone locked in battle. Snap Decision is 3 lengths behind with Hieroglyphics. They're both putting in their runs. Holiday Stone in front. Hieroglyphics is coming with a rush now. And from the back of the pack, Small Bear's kicked it in with Snap Decision. Hieroglyphics won it by a neck. Small Bear was second, Snap Decision third, then a photo between Blind Ambition and Holiday Stone. The final time was 1 minute 33.69 seconds.
2 ticks off the track record on a turf course that has been playing fast. It is the other Todd Pletcher runner, Hieroglyphics, who gets the win, and Small Bear runs a big one.
Well, the horse that won the race was the one who got the best ride and trip. The 7 had an opportunity to tuck in on the backstretch and get into that pocket, but Luis Saez had no interest in being on the inside, the absolute place you have to be. John Velazquez outrode the other riders in this race by getting into that pocket position, and he spent the entire race on the rail, took advantage of some hitting up front, and got the job done. John Velazquez deserves an enormous amount of credit for getting the win with this horse.
No, you're right. In the 5, just put the 1 to bed early. The 1 fought on nicely here. I thought Irad Ortiz did a great job. He was trying to save ground with Small Bear, but he just could not, and he never stopped those momentum. For a split second, it looked like he was going to get home, but the horse with the best trip just basically won the race. I'll tell you what, the 2 Snap Decision, no excuse. Had a great trip.
Hieroglyphics with the win. Todd Pletcher draws even with Chad Brown for the training title here with a week and 1 race to go at the meet. Hieroglyphics, though, well done here at 7-1. Brilliant ride from John Velazquez, as the guy said, and Small Bear ran to his looks.
How often do we see this happen where one trainer sends out 2 horses, the higher price wins? Hieroglyphics, 7-1. We never learn.
Even when Todd Pletcher gets beat, he wins anyway with his other runner at 7-1. 3-6, 2-7 in the Better Talk Now. Hieroglyphics picks up his 3rd career victory on the turf, the son of Pioneer of the Nile to Price here in our feature race. We're going to take a break in the action. Just a bit. Could make a world of difference for Unparalleled. Perhaps. We'll see with the finale still to come. We'll explain next.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warfront. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 Mile at Keeneland. Then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. With a pedigree free of Mr. Prospector in the first 4 generations, Data Link is the perfect outcross option. His first weanlings turned heads, selling well above the stud fee. Data Link at Claiborne Farm.
Summer of Dreams 4 is back at Foxwoods, and we've got guaranteed millions in cash and prizes up for grabs. Sign up free for Foxwoods Rewards and earn points playing our World Series of Poker and the Big Dream Slot Tournament with Mario Lopez. Also, try our new skill-based slots. Then, use your points for summer wonders like Lobster Madness, golf at the Lake of Isles, and shop the region's only indoor Tanger outlets. Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. Find your wonder now at foxwoods.com.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Back on Saratoga Live and into the winner's circle in our feature race, the Better Talk Now. Hieroglyphics for Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez, and Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. Third victory on the turf here for the son of Pioneer of the Nile. Out of the Limehouse mare, Double Lime returned $17.40 for the win. 3-6-2 finish, standing by with a winning rider. Let's go to Maggie.
Here with winning rider Johnny Velasquez aboard Hieroglyphics. And Johnny, I don't know, but was it a conscious decision to kind of take that rail position when it was offered up to you in the early stages of the race?
Well, we talked about it before the race, and I know that the horse for Karen McLaughlin would probably go to the lead, and obviously Todd, the horse, had some speed. Right. So I was expecting those two was going to go to the lead, and I was going to drop in there and hopefully get the rail. And then when the horse... the George Viva went down to the horse, so I was like, perfect, now I go to the lead, into the rail. It worked out really good. And then I had to bite my time there and make sure they see me in behind the other horse, so they put pressure to the horse in front. It worked out very well in 316 pole when I came out, and he saw the light, he responded right away. And he seemed like a horse that, you know, the longer he goes, the probably better he'll become in a way, but the mile suited him today, given the way the race played out. I mean, it played out so perfect. I mean, we couldn't find it any better. I mean, we talked about it before the race, like I said before, and it was like we drew it, and it happened that way. We got lucky. Always good to win for your home team in Todd Pletcher and Eclipse Thoroughbreds. Thank you very much. Congrats, Johnny. Thanks. All right, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. John Velasquez, Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, Todd Pletcher team up for the win. Again, Todd Pletcher drawing even with Chad Brown for the meet's leading trainer with one race and 1 week to go here at this meet at Saratoga. We still have the finale to come. Before we get to that, however, I want to remind everybody, New York Racing Association is the leader with its Spanish language content. Luis Grandison provides pre-race analysis. You can find it on the NYRA Now app, available in HD. Luis also provides race calls. Here's the Travers and West Coast.
Computer viene avanzando. West Point ha dominado el comando. Close Computer entra segundo. West Point mantiene la punta. Está botando con Mike Smith. West Point y Bob Buffer se ganan de Travers. Segundo está arribando Gunnar Vera. Tercero está finalizando Hyrar. De cuarto se mete Tabri.
On the lead every step of the way. Mike Smith making that last-minute call to take the front end and kept on going. What a performance.
And it worked out to be very successful. Yeah, as you said, Mike Smith had a plan coming out of the gate immediately.
Set the stage for our nightcap here. It's 5.5 furlongs over the Mellon Turf Course. New York Breds in a maiden special weight coming up. And 4-1 is our favorite right now in this race. That's how wide open this group is. 8 first-time starters in the field. Those with experience, well, have some improvement to show, like the one unparalleled. The Lady of Miracles, the 9, has a race under her belt as well. But it's Stone Cold Flirt, first time out. Or I should say English Soul, first time out, who is the favorite on the board for trainer Ray Handel, daughter of English Channel. You can play along from home. As you watch these races here, $200 sign-up bonus continuing. Bet 200, you get 200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5 to take advantage of that. Get signed up and started all across the country at NYRABets.com. We're going to take a break in the action. Our nightcap still to come here on Saratoga Live. Talk more about this group, have the post-parade coming up for the finale when we return.
How do I see New York bred performance? Like this.
Disco.
Here's New York sire Disco Partner setting a new world record in the Jaipur.
Holy mackerel.
And they perform like multiple Grade 1 winner Mind Your Biscuits.
And he's pouring it on late.
Shown here, winning the Belmont Sprint Championship. And New York breds perform in the sales ring, where this filly sold for $750,000. Look for your registered New York performer at upcoming auctions.
And they're off. NYRABets Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NYRABets.com. Bet the NYRABets Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NYRABets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRABets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and various regional outlets across the country. Our nightcap still to come. 5.5 furlongs on the turf coming up. New York Breds in a maiden special weight ahead. We're going to go to Maggie Wolfendale now with Unparalleled, who Maggie, debut race. Came here earlier at the meet at Saratoga, was rank a little unsettled, and now some changes being made.
Greg, that's right. And speaking to trainer Bruce Brown about Unparalleled's first race, he's gone from what is a regular snaffle bit to a ring bit. As we watch her making her way into the turn, she was up on the lead. And a lot of times with horses that are young, first time on the turf, possibly at racing speed, a lot of times they're going so fast and the turn comes up so sharp that they just don't handle it that well. So we'll see her with a little bit of a stronger bit that will help her be steered. Now, jockey Dylan Davis has worked her in the meantime in that ring bit, and she's responded beautifully to it according to her connection. So we'll see that difference in her. Hopefully it will see the difference in her running style here today, as you'll see the close-up there, and Dylan trying everything to keep her from barging into the other horses. And we'll also see if it affects her in the way that she's placed. Will she be forwardly placed here once again? Also, a shadow roll will go on, and that will provoke her to drop her head just a bit more, be a little bit easier for her rider to handle. But to find out a little bit more about what these bits do, well, I made a little package for everybody to check out.
As far as when horses are racing and what equipment, their bridles that they wear, and noseband, this is the most common setup that you'll see. Trouble here is wearing just a loose ring snaffle, or sometimes it's a D-bit, which looks like a D on the side of their mouth. And it's a very easy, kind type of bit where it just provides some steering for the jockey, because let's face it, you don't really want to stop a horse, and encourages them to run forward. And this is just a simple noseband, goes around his poll and down over his nose. Another type of bit that you'll see common on race horses is the ring bit. Now, you see it's pretty typical of what we saw with the loose ring snaffle here, but it has the drop here with the bars on the side, but it has this addition of the ring. Now, it goes in the horse's mouth just like that, and what it does is provides a little more leverage for the jockey, and it's used on horses who might be a little more difficult to steer, and so it just kind of keeps them running straight, because this bar here will kind of tighten on their mouth and make them a little more sensitive to what the rider is giving them as far as instructions with their hands. Now, this bit is called a Houghton bit, and it's a straight piece of metal in the horse's mouth, typically covered with either a piece of leather or a piece of steel text, just to kind of be a little bit kinder on the horse's mouth. But it has this bar that goes around their chin, and this bit is really, really useful for horses that do like to maybe lug in or lug out a little bit. And a famous horse that we all know that wore it was Curlin. He was a bit difficult in the mornings, and so they stuck this bit on him, but boy, it did work wonders for the champion Curlin. Now, in regards to different nosebands, we saw just the typical plain noseband. This here is a figure 8. Now, it will go underneath the horse's jaw and come down, make a crisscross around their nose, and go below the bit on their nose. So it's really trying to keep a horse's mouth shut, and you want that so it doesn't restrict their airways. You want them breathing totally through their nose when they're running. It's just the most efficient way for a horse to breathe. Also, it keeps their mouth shut so their tongue isn't able to get over the bit. Now we're looking at what is called a shadow roll. Now, it's just a typical plain noseband, but with a piece of foam and kind of a fleece piece put around it. And the idea and theory behind a shadow roll is that horses that like to run with their heads up in the air, it will encourage them to drop their heads a bit, because, well, they can't see what's exactly underneath their feet right in front of them. So this will kind of make a horse say, oh, what's on the ground underneath me? And that's what you typically see a lot of Baffert horses wearing, just a piece of equipment to make a horse drop their head and run on a bit.
Oh, there's a look at Unparalleled. Going to have that ring bit in today. We saw Big Brown actually race in a ring bit. That actually helped Kent DeSormo add some stopping power and increase some steering power to a horse who was pretty headstrong and strong and powerful horse in his races. Guys, let's bring you in here. Maggie mentioned now with this ring bit in the shadow roll, are we still going to see the speed? I wouldn't think you want to take that speed away, especially drawn inside. What do you think?
Oh, I see no reason this horse won't show speed, and I agree, Greg. I mean, with that inside post, you have to go. And it wasn't like he did something insane. You know, it's not like unparalleled. You know, bolted to the outside fence. She drifted out a bit. She still stayed in the game after that. I picked her on top because I just didn't know anything about the first-time stars, and nobody did a lot for me. But it's a guess. This is a very tough race.
It is a guess, but you got to give her credit that she cleared that field. And you know, the chart says that she only had the lead for like the first call. She didn't. She had the lead all the way to the turn. And here's the thing. When she finally cleared the outside horses, when she bolted, I think she was like waiting to see somebody. Say she might not clear. And I'm with you. I think she finished okay.
She didn't bolt. She only drifted out.
You know what I mean. She just went like 3 lanes.
Now, the 9 Lady of Miracles obviously has a much better finish. She finished second. But she comes out of a race where Beaux-Arts has not run well in subsequent starts. The one was rained off the turf. I think she can win it, and her trainer, Mike Maselli, does a very good job. But Lady of Miracles, to me, was second by default a bit. And I just find it hard to believe that among either the 1 or the firsters, there isn't somebody better.
I see where you're going. The Russell Cash runner on the rail had experience, lone speed. Yep. And it was a weak race, you're right. But sometimes it's hard to take away that the horse did run on okay. She lowers her head, and she's trying hard. And it's a good race. It's the best race on paper, and sometimes we end up projecting that the other horses are going to win. So at 4-1, if you like her, maybe she's worth the play. I think you need to get more than 4-1, though.
Yeah, the first-time starters, 2 of them are getting bet, and we'll look at. And one of them is Veradia. I don't want Veradia here. She has a half to 2 turf winners. It's Linda Rice, who's terrific, but Linda Rice very rarely wins with firsters and very rarely wins with firsters in turf sprints. And I feel as though, Paul, more often than not, we see Linda Rice's horse firsters, short prices in turf sprints, debuters, because people don't know where to go. And they say, oh, it's Linda Rice. She's the queen of the turf sprints.
She is, yeah.
And she's the queen of everything. She does everything well. She's not just good in turf sprints, but she doesn't win with turf sprinters, so it's misbet money. Most cases.
Yeah, most cases it is. She's getting bet. This horse is because you got Jose Ortiz aboard.
Right.
How do you leave Linda Rice off a ticket right now and Jose Ortiz? Right. This horse is actually dead.
Right. In a funny way, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Whereas the 5 English Soul for Ray Handel at 4-1, it's more meaningful. Now, I will say the Zilla people, they bet. We love that. Their owners are enthusiastic and they represent themselves at the window. So it's not that surprising the English Soul is taking money in this race. However, I think the money is much, wouldn't you agree, the 5 at 4-1 is much more live than the 2?
Yes, it is. And this horse is opened up live. I'm surprised the 4, because Carlos Martin's so good with his horses, and reportedly that horse is working okay, but the 5 has a turf pedigree.
Well, we can guess on pedigrees and guess on firsters, but Maggie can take a look at them and really help us out.
Thanks, Andy. And taking a look at number 2, Veradia for Linda Rice, you know, she is probably the most impressive and the most convincing given the conditions as far as physical conformation is concerned. She's compact, she's built downhill, nice big engine to her, she has a massive turf hoof as well. But as typically I say on air here, it's Linda Rice's first-time starters tend to need one, no matter if they're 2-year-olds or they're olders. She'll run well, I guarantee you that, but I don't know if it's going to be a winning effort first time out here. Next, we'll move on to number 3. That is Mad Girl, who is taking some nibbles, I'd say, for Tom Bush. They paid up for this filly at the Saratoga Fasig-Tipton sale, $230,000 for a daughter of the Factor that, you know, on the surface of things, really doesn't have that much pedigree on the bottom side. There's some decent horses going back a couple of generations, but they were more on the dirt. Looking at her here, I can see why they're trying her on the turf here. Obviously, the Factor is the son of Warfront. That translates well to the turf here. She has more of a turf frame, and she comes in here very fit. The problem I have is the distance more than anything. I think she's fit. She's ready to go. It just looks as though she's a very elongated filly that might appreciate a little bit more ground moving forward. Then number 7 is 5 in the morning for Jorge Abreu here, and you know, she comes out of a dam that's been very productive as far as her New York breds have been concerned. She's a half to let shoot pull as well as unrepenting, and they seem to be able to run sprinting on the dirt or the turf. And this one, I think she'll handle the turf fine. She has a great coat to her. She comes in here, she seems sharp. I like what I see from her as she currently sits at 12-1, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. Meanwhile, back to Unparalleled. Well, that ring bit cure that rank behavior she showed in her debut We'll find out. Second time out for trainer Bruce Brown. The nightcap's still to come here from Saratoga.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live, our post-parade coming up for the nightcap, and there is unparalleled ring bit and all for Bruce Brown, Dylan Davis, and Epona Racing Stable.
It's a filly that showed a lot of speed first time out, and then she shied away from something. Look for her to improve today with equipment change.
Linda Rice, Jose Ortiz, and Paul Pompa Jr. team up with Veradia.
And looking at this filly, she's got the pedigree to 1 to sprint, being a half to fly. Friendly, who's a 3-time winner, sprinting on the turf.
4-1 on the board, co-favorite right now. See Mad Girl next, the 3. Daughter of the Factor, trained by Tom Bush, and Manny Franco aboard was 20-1 morning line, 7-1 right now.
You're right, Greg, taking a ton of money. The Factors have been a good turf influence, and this one cost 10 times the purchase price.
Stone Cold Flirt, first-time starter by Yes It's True for Carlos Martin, has Tyler Gaffleone aboard.
She is by Yes It's True, but she's out of a mare who has not produced a turf winner. Her workout at the sale, though, was pretty good.
5, the current mild favorite on the board, Daughter of English Channel for Ray Handel, Joel Rosario.
Yeah, another horse taking money here for Ray Handel, who's very good at these turf sprints, and like you said, Joel will be aboard, debuts with Lasix.
Nazay, trained by James Bond and Bond Racing Stable. Ricardo Santana Jr. rides.
And Ricardo Santana in the saddle, obviously a very aggressive rider. Who knows what to make of this 11-1 shot.
5 in the morning, the 7, trained by Jorge Abreu, has Paco Lopez riding.
Not completely getting dismissed at the windows here for Canela Farm. And the horse has been working okay and does have a turf work on her resume.
That may be a rider change, actually. I ride Ortiz Jr. aboard the 7. The 8, Saratoga Treasure, Jose Lezcano for Jimmy Ryerson.
By Treasure Beach, and is a half to a stakes winner. However, that stakes winner was a dirt sprinter.
The 9, Lady of Miracles, Eric Cancel aboard from Mike Maselli and Lotta Luck Stables.
There's 2 horses in here with experience, and she ran a good race, the best one on paper, but is she good enough against these other first-time starters?
Winner of that race came back to run second in the Colleen that was taken off the turf at Monmouth next out. The 10, Halo Lelia for Mark Cassie, has Javier Castellano aboard.
$40,000 purchase at the sale, and it is a half to a multiple stakes winner at 2, but a little chilly on the tote board at 8-1.
Approaching the 6-minute mark to post here in our nightcap on this Monday afternoon. Our show brought to you in part by champion sprinter Run Happy. Here at Saratoga, set a stakes record in the King's Bishop, won by 4 lengths in 120-2. And can you believe you got 11-1 in that performance?
He took his talents really everywhere. A very quick horse, and excited to see his progeny.
There he is on the farm at Claiborne in Paris, Kentucky. He entered that King's Bishop off wins against Optional Claiming Company at Ellis in Indiana Downs, and he would go on to become a Breeders' Cup Sprint champion and remain undefeated throughout his career as a sprinter, all the while running Lasix free. Run Happy now standing at Claiborne Farm. There is a look at the 10, Halo Lelia, and let's take a look what Paul's playing here.
Well, you know, guys, I'm going to go with the 10. I knew this horse was going to be an overlay. When you looked at the rest of the field, the 4, the 5, Flashy Works in the morning, the 1 with the trouble, I had a feeling this horse would get dismissed. But if you look, horse been breaking sharply, which I love, and I think will get put in the race early. And Silent Name, the sire, has been a little bit sneaky good, and I like the bottom side of this pedigree. Smoke Glacken brings a lot of precocity and a lot of speed. So at 8-1, I think worth a shot. I thought this horse was never going to be at the 3-1 morning line.
I'll certainly get a nice price. Yeah, 3-1 now, more than double that number. Meanwhile, 4-horse at 13-1 on the board. That one trained by Carlos Martin. That's another first-time starter. For more on this runner, let's go to Maggie.
And Greg, they did pay only $21,000 for this daughter of Yes It's True, which to me, I don't think turf necessarily when thinking about Yes It's True's progeny. And to me, watching this filly sales workout with a 10-1, she had a very quick stride. And to me, she moved more like a dirt horse. I like the way she got over the dirt at Timonium there. And, you know, she doesn't show any workouts on the turf. I don't know if they're just trying to get a race into her and an easy one, possibly on the turf. We'll see. I don't mind her, but I do think she's more of a dirt type. Now, one getting played a lot is number 5, English Soul here. She's another one that worked 10-1 at the sale. She moves much more like a turf horse, in my opinion. Obviously, she's an English Channel. And she... you know, she kind of has that daisy cutter stride you'll see here. She is on the wrong lead, which I don't love. I'd love to see them a little more professional in their sales workouts. But she is an English Channel. She's on the smaller side. That is typical of this line. She looks pretty fit to me. She's okay. She's getting bet heavily. She'll win, but not with me backing her. And then finally, number 10, Halo Lelia, and another one that worked out at the sale. She was a little bit slower, 10-3, but she looks precocious. As you see this workout here, and to me, I think she'll appreciate getting on this surface a bit more. She wasn't really asked for that much, so a 10-3 workout, that's fine with me. She did it the right kind of way, and as Paul was saying, she looks quick. She looks like she should win early. She comes in here fit. I think she's another one that you have to use. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. So 8-1 on Halo Lelia. And our show presented by Claiborne Farm. We thank them for their sponsorship throughout here. This Saratoga meeting, be able to bring you this show nationwide. It's a puzzler here in this last race, and the board absolutely reflects that, Gabby. 7-2 our favorite right now on the 5 as we take a look here at a horse who continues to take money. That 20-1 morning line we mentioned on Mad Girl, daughter of the Factor, still 8-1.
And she is taking nibbles, as Maggie was kind of mentioning, for 8-1 right now on a wide open board. You look at her pedigree, Greg, she's by the Factor. She's out of a mare who won a maiden $15,000 race on synthetic, and there hasn't been a tremendous amount of notable foals, but I think you really just have to pay attention to what the board is doing right now.
I think you have to pay attention to the purchase price. They paid $230,000 given that pedigree. And it's not like the Factor had done anything at that point, or he's supposed to be such a huge sire. And when you see the Dam side, the Dam didn't do any running. It's a second foal. It's not much of the second family. This must be a very good-looking horse at the yearling.
Yeah, now you make a good point there. And I think there's speed on both ends. Latent Heat just infuses speed. And the Factor surprised a lot of people with his 17% first-time wins, guys, and he's been good on the turf. His horses are running on it.
No doubt. Used by Warfront, who's been exceptional with that. So we'll see here. Manny Franco aboard for Tom Bush. That big purchase price certainly raises eyebrows here. So this horse certainly looked good.
Well, it is the Saratoga August sale, and that's an elite sale, too. So sometimes we do see horses go for surprisingly high purchase prices, and this was definitely one of them.
Well, we talked earlier about Unparalleled. There are only 2 runners in this field who have any experience. One of them's the 9. The other one is the inside horse, Unparalleled. Got to the lead in that debut, was rank in the race, and now has that equipment change of the ring bit that Maggie talked about. So we'll see if that helps settle this horse and has Dylan Davis able to control her a little bit better. She's hopping around there a little bit. 7-1 on the board.
I was going to say, she, by nature of watching her last race and watching how she's warming up in the post parade today, she just seems like a really high energy type of filly. But her last race, it creates a really difficult situation for the rider and Dylan Davis, because the more that you're pulling on the left rein and the more that they are lugging out, you kind of lead to that behavior too. So with the change of equipment there, and obviously Dylan did work this filly in the time being, it probably gives him a little bit more confidence going into this race.
Let's not forget that debut as well. The winner of that race would come back and win the Bolton Landing for Todd Pletcher. She's the one who had that awful break, circled the whole field and won, and she's been very impressive so far.
And Codrington, the 3rd place finisher, came back to win a maiden special weight. So yes, that field has been incredibly productive.
She moves in. Rest of the field here patiently waiting to load next. Our favorite now finally more money coming in on the 5. That first-time starter for Ray Handel, the daughter of English Channel, who reportedly had some very strong works coming in. So it's the lowest price we've seen anybody on the board in this race.
This horse is definitely taking money, and she's got the pedigree. She's by an English Channel. She's out of a Belong to Me mare. She's kin to a 5-time winner on the turf. So we'll see what happens. But 5-2 right now is your favorite.
Yeah, that is a 5 English Soul with Joel Rosario aboard. Field about halfway loaded. The nightcap coming up here on Saratoga Live. 5.5 on the turf for New York-bred maiden fillies. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call, Larry Colmus.
Stone Cold Flirt is in. Saratoga Treasure has come up. English Soul now making her way up to the starting gate at odds of 5-2. Just waiting for Lady of Miracles and Halo Lelia. Lady of Miracles, a bit hesitant to come forward here to the second to last spot of the gate. Now comes up and in, just one left to load. Halo Lelia up to the outside stall, will complete the line here. She's in. They're all in line. They're off. Unparalleled hustled out of there from the inside, and English Soul's got speed too. These two out for the lead together. Halo Lelia came out running in 3rd on the outside. Bad Girl is 4th. Stone Cold Flirt 5th between horses. And they're followed by Lady of Miracles 6th early on, followed by 5 in the morning. Naze starting to drop back through the field. And then Saratoga Treasure and Veradia is in the back of the pack. Around the far turn, English Soul and Unparalleled locked in battle. And they are moving right along. 21.46 for the quarter. And just off of them, tracking them is Mad Girl, 3rd by another 3.5. Halo Lelia follows in 4th. And then comes Lady of Miracles, 5 in the morning on the inside. And Saratoga Treasure, they're into the stretch. English Soul on the outside, a narrow lead. Giving way is Unparalleled toward the inside. And then comes Mad Girl, followed by 5 in the morning. Farther out, it is Saratoga Treasure and Lady of Miracles. English Soul to catch. Saratoga Treasure closing with a rush on the outside. And here she comes. Saratoga Treasure gets up to win from English Soul, and then 5 in the morning, and Mad Girl in 102.66.
Saratoga Treasure, first time out, Jimmy Ryerson. And Jose Lezcano, who has been winning so many of these turf races at the meet.
Unbelievable here. And, you know, Andy spotted this horse in the backside. The 5 and the 1 went at it early, and the 8 was really traveling well. We've seen these daughters and sons of Treasure Beach, talked about it. They've been running, and you're going to get 20 to 1 on this runner. And you could see right there laying about 7th, she starts swinging off the cover of the 9.
This is a very good ride here. And you could see this horse making a run. Treasure Beach gets it done. But the truth is, and give the 8 the credit, but the 5 also ran a winning race here. Very tough beat for the 5. Engaged and dueled in the 1. This is a contentious pace for this group, Gabby.
Exactly. You see Unparalleled, who was on the inside of that early duel, and she faded to finish well back there. We saw the 5 English Soul kind of keep on going and finishing very, very well after battling it out on the front end. But a good trip and a good ride. I think you might propose to Jose Lezcano pretty soon, Greg.
I've been saying
You
it all
love
meet
him.
long. I mean, he is just riding at another level on the turf this meet. I had a chance to talk to Linda Rice a little bit a few days ago, and she echoed those sentiments. She says obviously she loves to get Jose Ortiz when she can, but Jose Lezcano has been incredible for her as well. I know teaming up with Jimmy Ryerson here, but showing his talents once again.
He absolutely does. He's a very, very smart rider on the turf.
8, 5, 7, 3. How about 20 to 1 to close things out in the get-out race? First-timer Saratoga Treasure, daughter of Treasure Beach, with the win in the get-out race here. English Soul runs good and had to battle Unparalleled early on and still hanging around there in the end.
She ran a very good race, and look, the money spoke. She was bet, and she ran to her odds.
So Monday in the books, but we are not done yet. Still have more to come here. We'll give you prices from this race coming up when we return here. And of course, a look ahead. Still Gun Runner to come this weekend. We'll talk about who's facing him when we return.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
The big day is here. You've told everybody. You've dressed the part. Your heart is pounding in your chest. Your horse is rolling down the stretch. He's coming. He's closing. He's the winner! You're a winner with Parting Glass Racing. PartingGlassRacing.com. PartingGlassRacing.wow!
Back on Saratoga Live, it is Saratoga Treasure into the winner's circle here in the finale on this Monday afternoon as we bring another week of racing here at Saratoga to a close. And trainer Jimmy Ryerson bringing his horse back to the barn. Not bad first time out.
Absolutely. An impressive performance and aptly named Saratoga Treasure.
Yeah, you got to win with a name like that, right? And things worked out perfectly. Got a little pace duel up front, unparalleled English Soul battling on the front end. And Saratoga Treasure coming from off the pace to pick up the pieces returns $42.20 for the victory.
That's very pretty, and Jose Lezcano obviously been riding incredibly well on the turf and showed it once again with a 20-to-1 shot.
Standing by with some very happy owners, I'm sure. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
And I feel so lucky to be joined by them. I feel as though the Generasios are never in town when their horses are winning, but I caught them their last day here. Patricia and Frank. And Frank, a daughter of Treasure Beach. This is the second one win as a 2-year-old, I think, in the last 3 days. And you said you own a piece of him as well.
Yes, I do. I have about 8 shares in him that I purchased. I purchased 15 shares originally, and I says, what am I doing with so many? I'm 88 years old. How many am I going to breed to that? So anyway, I sold half of them, and I'm so happy I kept the rest.
And you said that he's one of the leading sires, Patricia, in Florida.
In Florida, yes, he is. They just keep winning. And it seems like all of them draw the one box. And I was so happy to have the outside. I figured all those in the middle would crowd together, let us have the lead. She didn't want the lead. She wanted to make it more exciting.
That she did, and a great way to get off the mark here. I feel as though, we saw your colors always in the winner's circle at Belmont, and it didn't even dawn on me that's your first win of the meet. It's got to feel good, though.
I think we tied them all out at Belmont. We did very well, and we couldn't carry it over, but maybe it'll turn around now.
I'm sure it will. It always does. You guys are staples in the game. Always good to see your colors in the winner's circle.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Always a pleasure to talk to the Generasios, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. So there is Jimmy Ryerson taking Saratoga Treasure back to the barn. I'm sure some extra special treats waiting for this daughter of Treasure Beach, winning first time out at 20-to-1. Here's a look at the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along. Pays out $16,575 with 2 big prices in the last 2 races.
This was not an easy ticket to have. You have a $42 winner, a $17 winner in hieroglyphics, and decent prices from there. But you were nicely rewarded, $16,000.
So the pick 4 paid $2,300. The pick 5, $16,500.
Wow.
Take a look at the jockey standing. So Jose Ortiz, he's still on top. I did the math. All right, we got, 6 days left in the meet. He will need to average 2.6 wins per day to equal Ramon Dominguez's record for wins at a 40-day meet of 68.
The way he's been riding, I wouldn't say that's impossible.
Not at all. And remember how he closed last year with a furious rush. If he finishes like he did last year, he can absolutely do it.
For sure.
Trainer standings, it's a deadlock atop with Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher after Pletcher gets that win with hieroglyphics in the Better Talk Now.
Look at the margin of separation between Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher, and of course Linda Rice in third. Linda Rice has actually been having a great meet, but Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher still battling it out. It's going to be interesting as we get to the end of the meet.
No doubt that's going to be a fun one to watch down the stretch. Meanwhile, Saratoga Showdown online contest. Ooh, the narrowest of margins, Slew of Benny eking it out. So 50,000 Naira Bets wagering points into Slew of Benny's account and an entry into next year's prize package for the 2018 Belmont Stakes valued at over $2,000. You can play that contest each and every day. It costs nothing at all to play, so why not? Go to SaratogaShowdown.com to get involved. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more still ahead. Saratoga has plenty left to bring race fans, including perhaps the top older horse in training. Is Whitney winner Gunrunner ready for the Woodward? We'll discuss next.
Multiple Grade 1 winner First Samurai by Giants Causeway got off to a quick start at stud, siring Grade 1 winners in each of his first 3 crops. His talented son Lee captured the Grade 1 Don Handicap in record time and retired to stud with over $2.3 million in earnings. Sovereign Award nominee Stack Deck captured the Grade 3 Bold Venture Stakes and Grade 2 Kennedy Road Stakes, both just to tick off track record times. First Samurai at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. Greg Wolf, Gabby Gaudette, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale with you. The nightcap in the books, our Monday card in the books. Want to remind everybody, if you can't catch Saratoga Live on air, you can always see us and catch all the great racing from Saratoga on the Nyra Now app. The app available for a free download on iPhone, iPad, Android, Chromecast, and Roku. Just search for Nyra Now and download the app today. Let's take a look at the NTRA Top Thoroughbred poll. Gunrunner overtaking Arrogate atop the poll. Collected in third, your Pacific Classic winner, Lady Eli, who we just saw when the Boston spawned that list as well. But obviously the handicap division has everybody's interest right now. And Rally Cry and Neolithic, couple of horses for Todd Pletcher, are going to take on Gunrunner guys in the Woodward on the final weekend of the meet here.
After looking at that poll, I think I'm rooting for him to lose. I do like Rally Cry, Paul. This is a big acid test for him against a horse like Gunrunner. But, you know, he has run very well, and he deserves a chance.
He does deserve a chance. He's ultra talented, and you're right. He deserves a chance at the big boys, where I think Neolithic, his races were a little dressed up, and I didn't really like his last effort. Although he grinded, he probably needed it. But I think this horse is the real challenger.
I like him. He's a horse they loved as a 2-year-old that's finally coming together as a 4-year-old. Neolithic. You know, Neolithic has shown that he's a very good horse, but he finished well behind those runners when he ran big races over in Dubai. He was a distant third. There's no shame in that.
No shame in that.
He ran reasonably well. I think he was a distant third in the Pegasus as well. I don't know that he can be Gunrunner. I do like, you say in like his prep, I would say that at least he got it done at 7 furlongs, and he is supposed to improve with distance. He's a talented runner.
Yeah, I guess you could say he got a lot out of the race. He had to grind away. It wasn't an easy win for him, so maybe he'll be able to a little bit better, you know, in his next start.
Unfortunately, we lost a couple of players that were supposed to come in this race, unfortunately, including Shaman's Ghost. I still think it's a sterner test, though, than we saw in the Whitney.
Well, as far as Gunrunner in that race, he's going to be tough, whether there's another rabbit like he had to deal with last time in the Whitney or not. As for Todd Pletcher's runners, Here's what he had to say about Neolithic and Rally Cry.
When we came back from Dubai, we sent him to WinStar Farm for a little bit of a break, and he got a little bit sick, so we ended up missing some time. So we felt like it was very important to get a prep race into him before with the Woodward, and you know, I was proud of him for running well at 7/8 because that's a little short of his best distance. But I thought he put forth a big effort, came out of it well. He's training well, and now we're getting back to, you know, a distance more suitable for him. You know, that's why we wanted to go 7 furlongs, is we felt like we couldn't quite have him ready for a 1 1/8 prep, and we were hoping that we had him ready enough for the 7 furlongs, which fortunately we did, and I think that you know, has brought him forward for this. That was really his first time at a 1 1/8 where he's able to get into the flow of the race, and you know, we got the trip we were wanting. That's what he seems to do best, is when he gets into a good, comfortable rhythm, he's able to just keep clicking off those solid fractions. So we're hoping we can get a similar trip. Well, I think it's a challenge, you know, to step up into Grade 1 company, especially with a horse the quality of Gun Runner. But you know, we feel like, based on the strength of his performance in the Aladar, that it's time to give it a try. He's always been a very impressive horse to watch breeze. That's why we've always had high hopes for him, and the Aladar was kind of that breakthrough performance that we've been hoping for.
So Pletcher with 2, Rally Cry Neolithic taking on Gunrunner in the Woodward on Saturday. That is going to do it for us here on this Monday afternoon. Another week in the books at Saratoga. It was hieroglyphics for Todd Pletcher. Hall of Famer John Velasquez aboard for Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, winning the Better Talk Now at a mile on the turf and returning a big price. And Todd Pletcher, how about that, drawing even with Chad Brown for the leading trainer at the meet. We'll see you Wednesday.